Okay, guys, welcome. Episode 7. We're gonna fly. We've got marginal VFR weather on Oceano, but I think we've got a window here, a window of opportunity to get out of Oceano, away from the coast, away from the bad weather, to the east, where we might find an uncontrolled airport, where we can do or continue our practice in much more improved weather. So, guys, thank you, and let's get started. As you can see, we are currently here at Oceano, and what we're going to do is make a flight to another uncontrolled airport. Now, I've asked you guys to send in options or optional airports that we can visit. Some of which include Santa Ynez around here. But as you can see, there's bad weather here, marginal VFR here, marginal VFR there, bad weather all around. And also, if we go to Santa Ynez or any other airport here along the coast, we stick to that bad weather, those bad weather conditions. So I would like to go much more east to the mainland, because a lot of the bad weather, if you zoom out a bit, you can see there's a mountain range here continuing around the LA area, which actually prevents the bad weather from the ocean to go across. So any airport on the east side of this mountain ridge usually will bring us much better weather, or prevents us, protects us from that bad weather that's coming in from the ocean. So I looked around to some airport that we could fly to from ocean, not Oceanside, Oceano. Oceano. But there are not a lot of airports here nearby. So I was looking, and eventually my eye, I found Bakersfield around here, which is quite some way from Oceano. But it is behind that mountain ridge, and also it's a nice uncontrolled airport. It's nearby this Delta airport that we can use soon to practice our air traffic control ATC, air traffic communication. So tonight, I would like to go to Bakersfield. Get away from Oceano, get away from that bad weather as quick as we can. Now, if we look at the weather currently here in Oceano, you can see there are some clouds here, and we need to be sure to remain clear of clouds, or even more so, that 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above, 2,000 feet lateral distance from clouds. So it's going to be, well, avoiding clouds most of the time, which might be fun too. But what's more fundamental here is a very, very careful weather briefing, because there's a lot of weather here and clouds, and we need to make sure that we don't fly into IMC conditions, instrument meteorological conditions, while we are flying to Bakersfield, and then got stuck there, and we cannot transition to Bakersfield, and we are in big trouble. So we need to make sure that we can actually make the trip to Bakersfield without flying into clouds or getting trapped in clouds. So that is what we're going to do today, and let's start right away. Weather briefing. So as you can see here, the surface chart. High pressure area here, not a lot of low air pressures. There's a warm front coming from the ocean, but it's far, far away, so that bodes improved weather. This significant weather chart is the most interesting one, as I mentioned already a couple of times ago in previous episodes. This is for Wednesday, 06 Zulu. We're currently at 18 Zulu. So this is of this morning, you can say, in Zulu time measures. So there was a lot of IFR here. Oceano is about here. So completely IFR and marginal weather around. Bad weather, not safe flying weather. On the right side, you can see the forecasted weather for the 18 Zulu time. Well, currently we already passed that. So this is actually very similar to current weather conditions. And as you can see, marginal VFR weather is a little bit north of Oceano. So that gives us some room here to transition or to fly from the coast to the east. Perhaps, well, flying very nearby this marginal VFR front or area, but not going through it. So we've got some opportunity here to get away from Oceano. So that's a good thing. The graphical air mats. Can I zoom in here? Yes, I can. Okay, so this is San Francisco area, Santa Barbara. So we are around here. Here's Oceano. Now, as you can see, the IFR bit here, classify whether that is classified by the weather experts as being IFR, is on the ocean side, which is good, right? As long as it doesn't go east, that's a good thing. There is some IFR weather here. That's that north part that we already seen in the previous chart. This chart you can see here, it's on the north, that marginal VFR front. Well, you can see that here in the geographical air mat 2. So if we make that cross from the flight to Bakersfield, we might just get into this south area of this IFR region. So we need to look very carefully to the weather conditions at Bakersfield, because chances are we actually fly into IFR weather conditions, which is not a good thing. So again, AirMat SIGMATs, there's nothing here. Okay, there's some IFR here. I don't know what the difference is between this one and that one, because, oh, well, I just clicked it away. It doesn't matter. SIGMATs, no convective SIGMATs active. So that means no thunderstorms or buildups there. Also good. Satellite. Well, you can see this front here coming in, this area of clouds. This is San Francisco, here's Santa Barbara, so we are around here. So there's some, again, on the north, in the north, there are some big cloud fronts, overcast areas that are coming in. So that's a good thing to know, but perhaps we can go some more deeper into these weather briefings. This is the surface. Yeah, so the surface winds. Well, this is a very complex chart to look at. Let me see. This is San Francisco, Santa Barbara. So we are around here. Well, the most important thing is just to look at these colored areas. So the yellow, orange, red spots. Well, there aren't any nearby Oceano, so that's good too. It's better to look at the METARs of individual airports to have a better idea of what the winds are doing. But this is a some global view on what the winds are doing in our area, which is looking fine. Then radar. So it's also something that I actually should have mentioned in the previous episode, in the hangar talk. I was wondering in some of the previous episodes whether these radar plots actually show where it is in fact raining. Well, it isn't really the case. It's more like showing where the clouds, or where the sky or the air is very humid, or there's a lot of moist in the air, which could indicate that it is raining, but it's not really a guarantee. Also, it's also an indication of just bad weather in general. So wherever you see these radar plot green depictions indicates that you should look carefully, because probably there are some IFR conditions or IMC conditions there. But none around the Oceano area. The mosaic radar plot shows a more specific or more detailed plot of where the moisture might be in the area. Again, this is Santa Barbara, San Francisco, so we are around here. Not a lot of stuff going on. You can see a little bit here on the north side. Confirms our previous charts, right? That north area of IMC conditions, or which I should say IM, this instrument meteorological conditions. So IMC conditions is a bit weird to say, but yeah, IMC, an area of IMC. So Bakersfield, I guess, is a little bit south of that, so we should be fine. It's going to be a challenging flight, guys. But I'm really looking forward to take off and fly. Again, METARs. Zooming in, more details. So we are here. San Luis, no winds, 10 statute miles. Hey, thank you for following Mythic. Thank you so much. Welcome on board. No winds, 10 statute miles, scattered at 1,500 feet. Okay, so that means that it is it still, oh yeah. So it's still VFR, even though that ceiling is very low near the ground, relatively. But that cloud ceiling in terms of IMC is only when you have a broken ceiling or overcast. If it's scattered or if it's few, then it is not considered IMC, but VMC, VFR ready conditions, because then there's room for you to fly in between the clouds, and this is the case too here. So we've got some clouds here going on, and that we can see outside here at Oceano. Yeah, so that gives us some leverage to fly, I guess, over the clouds, which is something that we should consider once we're gonna plan our flight in just a moment. So therefore it is green at San Luis here, the METAR code. Let me see. Here is Santa Maria, which is marginal VFR. Again, no winds, 10 statute miles, overcast. Yeah, and that's why it's blue, because it's marginal VFR. Overcast, 100. So that's very low. My gosh, that's not a good thing to be there as a private pilot. I guess even not as a, and that's 1,000. It's not 100 feet. It's 1,000 feet overcast. Yeah. So that means, also looking at the other airports here on the south, that there is some general marginal VFR weather here to the south. So if we should not go to the south, and there's even some IFR weather conditions here at Santa Ynez. So here's Oceano. So we will fly to the east and perhaps stay north of that bad weather. So we are still fine. General area. Area forecast, Central California coastal, and this is Southern California coastal overcast at 1,000 to 2,000, tops at 3,500. Okay, that we should remember. Broken 2,500 at 3,000, tops 3,500. Outlook marginal VFR. And that's becoming, yeah. So that's becoming. And tops 4,000. Some fog, outlook, marginal VFR, 4,000, tops 5,000. I don't know what Owens, it's a code or abbreviation for some area there. I don't know what it's for. Overcast 2,000, tops 5,000. 3 statute miles. Okay, this is getting dangerous here. Dangerously close to IMC conditions. Becoming scattered at 12,000, broken. Okay. Hey Dad, you are again logged into my account, I guess, because you're typing through my account like the uncertified pilot. So you should log out and log in with your own account, because this is getting confusing, I guess. So log out and log in with your own account. Yeah. So what's important here is the fact that most of these cloud ceilings stop at 4,000. What was the highest? 5,000, I guess. Where was it? What was it? Central, Southern, 3,000, 5,000. Yeah. So to stay clear of that cloud ceiling, to make sure, we should actually fly 5,000 feet or above. And well, as you know, as we discussed in the previous episode, to remain clear of clouds as a private pilot, we should ensure a 1,000 feet separation between clouds. So we should add 1,000 feet to that, so that's 6,000 feet, because we're going to the east as a VFR flight. Odd pilots fly to the east, so we need to stick to odd thousands of VFR altitudes, so 7,500 or 9,500. So 7,500 might seem a good altitude to fly based on the weather, because then we stay above the bad stuff and that should be fine. Still, I'm not really sure that at Bakersfield the weather is okay. Let's go to Sky Vector and just have a look at the METAR. So you can see here, let's make a flight here. It's more, let me see. Oceano, plan. Here, VOR, plan. So, oh, I didn't do that right. Can I delete it like so with the right mouse click? No, I can't. Flight plan. Clear. Again. Let me switch so you guys can look with me. Sorry. Oceano. Plan. Then I would like to go to that VOR, and it's called Fellows. The Fellows VFR. Click. Here's Fellows. Plan. Boom. Then I would like to go to this uncontrolled airport. It's the Taft-Kern. Hey Dad, yeah, you're now checked in. Good, nice of you to be here. Yeah, so that's Taft-Kern, Lima 17, and I would like to visit there and do some touch and goes if the weather is okay. To do some touch and goes there and then move on to Bakersfield. That's the idea. So let's plan and add that one plan, and then we go to Bakersfield. Plan. Uncontrolled airports, we should remain clear of the Meadows airfield here, which isn't really a problem. Now another problem is the terrain, obviously, because you can see this mountain range. So we should make very sure that we don't fly into the mountains, especially when the weather is this bad. So again, based on the weather, we should fly at about 7,500 feet. That ensures us to be well above the clouds, that cloud ceiling, but does it also guarantee that we don't hit any mountains? Well, as you can see here, 2,000, 4,000, well, that's totally fine. So 7,500 seems like a good altitude, good VFR altitude to fly on towards Bakersfield. Okay, that's cool. So we could depart Oceano downwind leg, left-hand downwind leg, pick up that VOR, make sure that we fly over this Twitchell reservoir as a visual reference point if we can see it flying over the weather. If we fly above that bad weather and clouds and stuff. VOR, yeah, and then here we can fly an outbound radial towards Taft, and if weather allows, we can do some touch and goes here. There are some layers here I can enable, by the way. SIGMETs, icing, instrument, weather rules. Now I want like weather radar. Click. Yeah, we can see some green dots there. Well, confirms the radar charts that we saw a few moments ago. Flight Saitek, you using Photoscene or just ORBX? ORBX, but ORBX Southern California is kind of like photorealistic. I mean, it's really coming close. Blue sky scenery, I believe, is the best in terms of photorealistic, but then you don't have the autogen and you don't have the nice and cute ORBX airports. So I'm using ORBX Southern California here. And as soon as they release new airports for Southern California, I will get each and every one of those because they are very, very cool, in my opinion. But what was I saying? Yeah, so the radar, not a lot of radar activity here, but the satellites, the clouds, is more important. Again, not a lot of clouds, which surprises me because these airports are marginal VFR, and they say, well, what kind of ceilings do we've got here? Overcast at 1,000. Well, I would expect seeing some satellite coverage here, so that doesn't make sense. And again, if we go back to one of the earlier charts, let me see, where's the satellite? Yeah, here's the satellite. Well, Oceano is here. Oh, we can zoom in. Cool. Some charts you can zoom in, others you can't. Oceano is here. Well, there's not a lot of clouds. You can see there's a cloud area here that is moving to the southeast. Yeah, so it moves with us towards Bakersfield. Okay. And here at it's called, is it called Meadows, or that's the VOR? No, that's Shafter. Weather station Bakersfield, but it's called Meadows. That's interesting. Well, I don't care. This is Bakersfield. Marginal VFR. Well, this is going to be exciting, guys, because chances are, and that's something that I would like to avoid, and that's something that we should discuss too around now. What if we're going to fly and we're going to depart here, we're going to go to 7,500 feet, remain clear of clouds, all and well, we fly inbound to this VOR beacon. But around this point, especially when I plan to do touch and goes here at Taft, the weather should be clear, or it should provide us with the room to transition or descend back to traffic pattern altitude without flying through the clouds, because that's not allowed as a private pilot. If that is not the case and we see overcast, we've got a problem. So then we could say, well, we skip doing touch and goes there and we just go direct to Bakersfield, but that same scenario could apply to Bakersfield too. Imagine that we fly here, it just changed. Meadows or Bakersfield Airport here now shows IMC conditions. Imagine that we fly there. Thank you for following G650er. Thank you and welcome on board. That we fly there, VFR so far, until we reach Bakersfield and we only see a big layer of overcast and we cannot descend through it. Then we are in big trouble. So what should we do if that happens? I mean, there's some priority here. I would really like to leave Oceania because it's always bad weather here, and that's not really helping me to fly and do my flight training. So that's why I would like to go to the east and getting behind this mountain range here that goes along this behind the LA area. As you can see, all the bad weather here is kind of like stuck in this area because these mountains prevent that bad area to go further east. So if I fly to an uncontrolled airport behind on the east side of this mountain range, that kind of like ensures that we have better weather to fly. I mean, you can see all these airports here have VFR conditions, all green. Currently here at Bakersfield, there are IMC conditions. By the way, the purple bullets show even worse than IMC. I guess it's not even allowed for an IFR pilot or instrument rated pilot to depart. I don't know, but there's also a pink one, which is the baddest one you can ever find. But still, this poses a problem or a challenge, and I'm not going to fly just based on luck, and we'll just hope to see that there's some window there for us to land. So first off, we need to have enough fuel to divert. What's our alternate airport? And I guess when we're flying here at Taft, we can already observe the weather here and make a decision whether we should proceed to Bakersfield or just go another direction. But we could go to the south. I mean, there's much better weather here. There's a lot of protective restricted airspace, MOAs. Okay, so these are practice areas where the military is doing exercises. So we cannot fly to there. At least that's what I'm expecting. Mountain Valley is something that we could go to. There is marginal VFR here, or VFR conditions here. Yeah, so we should look up this specific MOA. There are two. This one, Bakersfield, and Isabella. Because chances are they might start at a particular altitude and we go underneath them and reach this airport. I mean, this should be a good alternate. It's in the mountains. How high up is it? Mountain Valley. Sounds cool. 4,200 feet. Okay. Flight Saitek. Pink purple is limited IFR. Tells a pilot that could ceilings below 500 and less than 1 mile. Yeah, okay. So it's really bad IMC. But okay. I was guessing that even tells IFR instrument rated pilots not to fly. that it's not legal for an instrument-rated pilot to fly, but that's not the case, I guess. It just means that it's really limited IMC conditions, limited IMC. Okay, so this sounds about right. So let's have a look at the specifics of this Bakersfield MOA and this Isabella MOA. Well, we can do that by going to the legenda. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. There are all kinds of information here. I guess it's on the top. MOAs. Bakersfield. Altitude 2000 AGL. I don't know what is meant with intermittent by NOTAM. I don't know what that means. In other cases, it just states, well, between these hours and these days, those MOAs are active. But intermittent, guys, what does intermittent mean? G650, hi Tim, very much impressed by your good work. Saw all your videos. Wow, great. Thank you. That encourages me to keep on doing my flight training. Welcome on board. Guys, what means intermittent? Can somebody tell me what this means? I don't know. Bakersfield 2000 AGL. Now the idea is, does it start at 2000 AGL or does it is it the ceiling at 2000 AGL? I would say it starts as the base. Flight Saitek. Intermittent by NOTAM means that a NOTAM will tell pilots of... Oh, okay. But which NOTAM then? From what airport? I guess from that airport beneath, or... Because we can look up NOTAMs in just a sec if we like to. Okay. NOTAMs. Well, I don't know what NOTAM we should look at, but we can look at that nearest airport to see if there are any. This is the base, I believe. But I guess that's also mentioned somewhere. Altitudes indicate floor of MOA. Yeah, so that's the base altitude. So from 2000 feet upwards. So we can, if we fly below 2000 feet AGL, not MSL, but AGL, we can reach that airport. Well, we've got Bakersfield, but we've also got Isabella. Where's Isabella? Isabella's got 200 AGL. From 6 to 10, Monday to Friday. Okay, so that's active. 200 AGL. Okay. Let me have a look again at Bakersfield. Well, not Bakersfield. It's called, what's that airport called? Mountain Valley. It's in Isabella, right? Yeah, it's in Isabella. And that's at 200 AGL. That's low. So are you really, how can you fly a traffic pattern there? Or is it a military kind of airport? That's weird. Isabella, okay. Well, obviously we can just continue to this airport, but that's a Delta airport, and I would just stick to uncontrolled airports first. We've got here Agua Dulce is one we can also fly to. MOA excludes airspace, 1,500 feet AGL and below. Yeah, and does that relate to this one or that one? Because it's crossed over. MOA excludes airspace from below. Yeah, that does make sense, because then you have 1,000 feet of AGL room to do your traffic patterns on that altitude. 200 AGL seems very, very weird as a... MOA excludes area, but what MOA? This one or that one, or MOAs? Now this one too. MOA excludes, oh no, there's an arrow here. Oh, there's also an arrow here. Right, there's a circle here. And there's a circle. MOA excludes airspace for, and there's an arrow here. Okay. Okay. So then this is 200 AGL, but this is 2000 AGL. So we can fly from here and then enter here. Okay, so let's add this one too, in case we need to divert. Yeah. Okay, that sounds like a plan, I guess. See how it says MOA excludes airspace both inside? Yeah, FlightTech, you already in front. Yeah, I was behind. Yeah, that's how it works. Okay, so our flight, 7,500 feet to the east. If we see still encounter IMC here in this area, we could divert to the east even a little bit further to Mountain Valley. Sounds dangerous stuff. Sounds like a James Bond like kind of airport. But we'll see. Do we have enough fuel? I guess so. I've got my 4-flight here. Let's see if I can add that one too. Isabella. Airports. Mountain Valley. Yeah. Click. There it goes. It's a all the way to Mountain Valley from Oceano is a 114 nautical mile flight. 11 gallons we need. It's a 1-hour flight. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we have enough fuel on board. I guess so. But we'll check in a bit. That's our flight, guys. Sounds cool. Okay, let's keep up the pace. So let's start up. Back to the cockpit. Where are we? Yeah, get my feet here. TrackIR. Okay, center. So you can see clouds. So I see there are few clouds over here, and those weren't here 10 minutes ago. So I guess we need to find some room to circle to 7,500 here to remain clear of clouds. So then we are on top of those, and then we can fly to the east. Because if I look at the MEDARs and the ADIS, that ceiling there, that scattered cloud layer is at 1,500 feet or something like that, or 2,500 as we have seen in the weather report. So we need to find some clearer sky and then circle above, and then we make the trip to the east. That's the idea. Okay, so first off, clear and dark. Control relock is removed. Park and brakes are set. Live vest we have underneath our seat, we pretend. Fire extinguisher is here. Room or the window we can open to prevent fogging up the windows. Cabin air is open, flaps are up, mixture set, prop set, throttle. Fuel selector is okay, we'll put that to both soon. This is all working, trim is set. These are all off. The standby, on, nothing here. Alternate static is in. Click. Avionics off, beacon should already remain on, off. Okay, that's a good thing. So cold and dark, all set. Then what we're going to do is turn on the battery. No, I'm going to get my checklist and verify that I did my checks. Control wheel lock, park and brake, extinguisher, cabin air, flaps, alternate avionics, pitot heat, lights, fuel selector, alternate battery, magnesium off. Yeah, we did. Follower, Crispy, thank you. Welcome on board. Okay, exterior. Walk around. First up, batteries on. Bloop. Fuel. We've got enough. We've been using our right tank a little bit more, which is weird, but still. Okay, but that's enough. That's enough for that 11 gallons that we need to make the trip, including the alternate. So that's okay. Then what we're going to do is put on the landing lights, the taxi lights, strobe lights, nav lights, and the pitot tube. Hosting, Flight1, thank you for hosting. Okay, so that's all on. Now we're going to go outside. I already mentioned in the previous episode, EZDOK works now with A2A, or A2A works with EZDOK. It's just a very simple hack into the aircraft configuration doc file, and then it just works seamlessly. Even more so, I've implemented some improvements. So here we are. Now we can click these individual spots. So to the front, yeah, and I will not go to that one, but well, it doesn't really matter. Here, and I would like to go TrackIR here. Let me see. So taxi lights on, landing lights on, navigation lights on. We can strobe here. On the other side, here too, looks good. Then we go to the back of the airplane. Position lights here and beacon there. And now we can go to the pitot tube. Whoop. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Let me turn off TrackIR. I need to go to that one. All these buttons. Pitot tube, pitot cover. Away. It's warm. Check. Into the cockpit again. So there we are. We can turn everything off. Blip, 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 except for the beacon light and the pitot. Okay, so that's checked. Then, Crispy doesn't having all those exterior lights on really drain down the battery. Well, not really. You should do it more. You should do it quick. That's what I'm doing. But again, the whole idea is if you don't check it, you might flip the switch landing light on. But if the landing light is broken, then well, you are in trouble. Wolfie, thank you for following. So that's the idea. So if you look at YouTube and some real-world pilots, you can actually see them check. I don't know if they do this each and every time. I've heard Country Flyboy, also a nice channel, with a lot of procedural movies on the Skylane and the Skyhawk, A2A's Skyhawk, all kinds of procedural stuff that he is covering. Really great content. And one of the things that he was mentioning is at airports they only do this exterior pre-flight check once in the day, and then all the other students that make use of the airplane afterwards, well, they practice the pre-flight, but doing it one time on that same day is fine. So then it only happens once. And also when we turn on the engine, the generator, we turn on the generator, and then you can see that the battery is already charging. So this is okay. Yeah, and if you're looking for a checklist, I've made one. I've mentioned this a couple of times just for you guys to make use of it. This is my own student checklist of A2A's Skylane. It's free, download, uncertifiedpilot.com. Go and get it, and you can follow me along or use it yourself. Okay, next up. We move on to the right, so this is all set. Then flaps down, blip, blip, blip. We check whether the flaps go down in sync, because if they don't, you've got an additional aileron effect, and imagine what that would do. Not much good. Thank you for following, Rush. Welcome on board. Okay, so that is working too. Then I should already put on the avionics. Wrong flow here. There it goes. On, standby, 1200 is okay. On. Yeah, so this is looking fine too. Set. Let's test whether these lights are actually working. They are all working. We only see oil pressure, vacuum, and volts. Pitch trim should be... Yeah, this is okay because the engine is not on, so this is perfectly fine. Well, we can already set this one to elevation altitude, which is about here. Check whether the heading indicator is synced with the compass. Oh, there's some flights there. By PilotEdge. We're always flying on PilotEdge. 200. 200, that's okay. And we've got fuel, and that is it. So avionics off and battery off. That should complete the interior pre-flight. Let's see. Batteries on, lights, pitot heat, exterior lights, stall, or the stall warning we didn't test. Yeah, and I'm just going to do it because I need to drill and practice this stuff, guys. So again, battery on. Go outside because the stall warning is here. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's there. And then we can go inside again. It needs battery power for it to make that sound. So, done. Yeah, check. So now we can go to the exterior inspection. So again, go to this picture. We go outside. Already went to the pitot tube, so that's okay. Baggage door closed. Tail of the airplane. Tie down is removed. Let's have a look here. Well, you can see we fixed that in the previous episode. This bolt was missing. So we fixed that, which was cool. Again, showcasing the realism that A2A brings to Flight Simulator. So as you can see, all bolts are in and everything seems to look great. here too. The tab also has a wiggle to it, so that's okay too. Flaps, this is a new view, as I already showed you guys last time, which I think is much more functional than looking at the flap from the outside in. So now you can see the hinges here. You can just change these coordinates in the configuration file, so it's pretty simple to do. Wiggle, there is. Again, looking at the hinges here, they look fine. Aileron, can we already move it? Yeah, so very gently we can use our hands. Well, we should see some hinges here, but they are not here virtually, but that's okay. Let's continue. Tie down is removed. Thank you for following. Marvg Block, thank you. Welcome on board. Fuel vent is clear. Wheel chocks removed. Let's drain the fuel. No water contamination. Also, guys, for those of you who are new, I've also made a cheat sheet of all these pictures, because these actually change, these pictures. They're dynamic, based on well, whatever you do with your airplane. So if you're curious to look at how these faulty images look like, so you can recognize them as soon as they pop up, go to uncertifiedpilot.com and you can download it for free. Fuel drain. Then here, how much fuel, gallons? Yeah, that's enough. Static airport is clear. Let's drain the fuel here. No contamination. Propeller. So here, click. We should actually have a look at the propeller blades and see if just the leading edge here, to see if there are no dents and other stuff going on here. Well, that isn't simulated by A2A, but it's nice just to incorporate that check. This one is simulated, I believe. So intakes, there are no bird nests or other stuff going on there. Air intake, filter. Thank you for following, Dutch Touch 93. Yeah, so that's clear too. Moving on to oil, engine oil, between 9 and 6 quarts. Good color, that's okay. Static airport is beneath here. Or I should say for you guys that way. Actually, let's have a look. Can I see it? Yeah, it's over here. That's a static airport. Static port. Blip. Other wing. Enough gallons. In real life, you should also check whether these seals around that thing is actually working. There's no leakage or anything there. That actually happens, that pilots do not screw that thing down properly, and things get really messy. So drain on the other side, no contamination. Well, that fuel drain valve is just behind this frame, so we cannot see it. Wheel chocks removed, tie down removed, fuel vent here is clear. Ailerons, again, we should check whether the hinges are right. Well, they are. Did we check this at the other wing? I don't think so. I forgot about that. This looks good. Plop, let's have a look here. They look good too. And then we are here at the flaps. Wiggle. Yeah, wiggle. And we can see that the hinges look cool too. Yeah, they do look good. Completing the exterior pre-flight inspection. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so let's verify again the checks. Yeah, so what I'm forgetting, because I'm just following along A2A's checklist, is I would also like to incorporate the antenna check. Have a look at all our antennas to see if they are secure. Well, that's not really they cannot be unsecured during in-flight simulator, but I just like to incorporate that into my routines that I should do. So the ADF antenna, the transponder antenna on the belly of the sky lane, which is nice to know, and I should have a look at those. Right wing nose wheel. Oh yeah, that's something that we should have checked too. It's the strut. Let's have a quick look. Which is not simulated again, and I guess I should change this viewpoint, because now I cannot check. There's a strut here, kind of like a steel or whatever it is, that is connecting the wheel to the front wheel to the skylane. Thank you for following randomly, Adam. Welcome on board. And you should make sure that there's enough room there for the nose wheel to, I don't know how you call it, dampen, or I don't know how you say that in English. Perhaps you know by my visualization here. But there should be, I guess, 4 fingers or something like that of room there for it to work properly. And this viewpoint doesn't allow me to check, so I should change this viewpoint. That I will do. Okay. Yeah, we did that. Propeller blades we checked, intakes we checked, quantity we checked from the oil, fuel tank, taxi lights, intact. Yeah, we already did. Left aileron wing. Yeah, so no reason to visit the maintenance hangar. That's okay. Okay, before engine start, by heart, if I can. Allow the nose gear compress properly. Yeah, that's right, Flight1. Thanks. Yeah. It bounces. That it allows the aircraft to bounce on the nose wheel. There should be enough room there for it to do that. Yeah. Okay, so it first starts with the briefing. So what we're going to do, again, for the last time, we are going to make a very nice and exciting, adventurous trip from Oceano, from the coast, away from the coast, away from the bad weather. I'm getting frustrated here. I would like to fly, and pretty much every day of the week until now, Oceano had bad weather, which is not a good thing. So we're going to fly to the east, to Bakersfield over here, by first going to this VOR, Fellows VOR. So that seems pretty straightforward. And then, if the weather allows, I would like to do some touch and goes here at Taft before we go to Bakersfield. Well, if the weather doesn't allow, we go straight to Bakersfield, and if the weather isn't good, we divert to Mountain Valley here. And as we briefed already, we cannot go to the through the Isabella here, but if we go through Bakersfield MOA and enter the pattern here from the west side here, we can enter it. There's a 1,500 feet AGL window for us to enter this airfield. That's the idea. We're going to fly at 7,500 feet. Odd pilots fly to the east. So if we go to the east, we need to stick to odd thousands of feet. So the 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, 9,000, and then always add a 500 feet to it because we are VFR pilots. So we could fly 3,500 feet, 5,500 feet. Now we base that altitude on 2 things. First, terrain clearance. We need to fly over this mountain ridge thing. So 4,000 feet. Yeah. But it says here 5,500, and I guess this number shows the highest terrain obstacle thing, doesn't it? Oh yeah, you can see here it's 5,000 feet. Perhaps there's a bit here that is even higher, or some other antenna here. I don't know. I guess that's about right. Doesn't really matter. Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't really matter. 5,000 feet, so terrain clearance, so that's first. So if we fly 7,500 feet, we are clear of this mountain range. But the other one is weather. We saw a lot of ceilings here of weather, and the forecast showed that it wouldn't go higher than 5,000 feet. So that's also one. We need to remain clear, 1,000 feet above that cloud layer. And what we're worried about here, I hope you are too, is this IFR IMC area here, indication here at Meadows Airfield, which should also apply to Bakersfield here, because chances are if we fly to this direction, then we encounter IMC here, we cannot descend through the clouds if there's an overcast or something like that, or bad visibility, and then we are in trouble. So in that case, we're going to move on to this direction because we see a lot of VFR here, and that should be cool. And we have enough gallons, so that's the briefing. Yeah. Then we can turn on, fasten our seatbelts. Guys, you've seen the introductory video, right? The first episode. I've got my own seatbelts. I love it. And strangely, it does have an effect, the psychological effect of strapping your seatbelt like this is real. I'm not sitting on an office chair. I'm actually strapped into my pilot in command seat. Yeah. Enter 3. See the little 55 just above your track line. That means the highest obstacle in that sector is. Yeah, that's what I already saw. Yeah, but thanks for letting me know. Okay, back to the cockpit. Yeah, so let's get to the checklist. I don't know what the other items are. So we did our briefing. You guys are on board. Guys, you are strapped. Are you on board? Are you sitting comfortably? We're going to make an exciting trip here. We might die because of IMC. Oh, man. Cabin doors. Let's close them. Whoop. There we are. Closing doors. Bum. There we are. Then, passenger briefing. Well, we just did. Pilot briefing. So, VMs RMC, we checked. Winds, well, we didn't really incorporate that one. But I've already prepared, already looked at ForeFlight. And it wasn't showing any winds. San Luis is now, VFR winds are 0000. Meadows, winds are 270 at 6, so that's okay. That means that the wind is actually coming from the west, obviously. So we've got a tailwind, so that's a good thing. But it is a bad thing also, because if there's bad weather on the ocean, it will fly with us, along with us. So, yeah. Okay. Winds. What we're going to do? Yeah, some more practical terms. We're here at Oceano. So what we're going to do is we've got 270 winds, I guess. Here there were winds calm. So we're going to depart 29 because the drone airplane here of PilotEdge, that Mooney, is also departing 29. So we're going to do that. 29er. Mentioned that in the previous episode. Not 29, but 29er. And we're going to take off. Left-hand departure. Downwind departure. It's a left-hand traffic pattern. A left downwind departure. Or that's not a good thing, because then we are beneath this cloud layer, this scattered cloud layer, and then we can go through it if we like to climb. So perhaps it's better to do a crosswind departure, because there's clear skies. We can circle to 7,500 feet. Whoa, sorry. And then go to the east. That's a better plan. Although the only concern that I have maybe is if we circle there, we are on top of the ocean. If we got an engine out, engine failure, well, we are high enough to glide back to Oceano, I guess. But things will happen. Things will go wrong, guys, on this series. Everything is realistic. Everything is high realistic settings. A2A Simulations is so realistic. It's giving me goosebumps each and every flight. So we will eventually encounter trouble. Okay, that's that departure, and then we go to our flight plan. Departure, en route, arrival. Yeah. Okay, brakes. Verify that they are working. Let's do that. Back to TrackIR. So release parking brake. It's released. Let's see if those brakes are working. They are. Reset the parking brake. Beacon light verify on. It is on. Navigation light only on if night or IMC. Well, we don't need those. Avionics should be off. Important killer item, and it's off because if you turn on the engine while these avionics are on, you might have an electrical surge and damage the avionics. So they should be off. Cowl flaps full open. They aren't. They aren't. Now they are open. And fuel tank selector should be to both, obviously. Yeah, like so. And that completes the before engine start. And then I know how to start the engine. Crispy, I saw your intro video, dude. Are you super new to Flight Sim? Did you take a long break for a while? Yeah. So my dad is also now on the channel, and he actually introduced me to Flight Simulator, or actually we introduced ourselves to Flight Simulation. Flight Simulator 5. I remember us buying a Flight Simulator in a store. Flight Simulator 5. My gosh, I'm in that introductory video. I show some videos of Flight Simulator 5 such a long time ago, and at that time I really aspired to be a pilot myself until my 16th, and then I decided to go to the university college. And in those years afterwards, I've flown in Flight Simulator a few times, not a lot of times, because one of the things that I always missed was ATC, air traffic control, and airspace stuff. That's really interesting. And if it's not there, if you don't fly on PilotEdge or VATSIM or any of that of those cool network multiplayer stuff, then it's just basically practicing flight skills, and that's it. I mean, you could simulate taking take those airspaces into consideration, but to me, PilotEdge really brings life to Flight Simulator. And when I learned that PilotEdge existed, I thought that's it, and it really sparked my interest in Flight Simulator again, because then I saw real training purpose and dimension there, and that's what happened. So then I decided to start with uncertifiedpilot.com. I first started, that's also nice for you, I guess, some of you guys to know. I started first a year ago on GTA 5. I had an Xbox, and GTA looks cool, and it has a lot of airplanes, but it's not really like this, like flight simulation, but it is nice. It looks gorgeous. And so then I already noticed some interest in flying again. So what I did, and it became quite popular, I created the GTA Flight Crew. Just have a look at gtaflightcrew.com. And I invented my own PilotEdge, not knowing that I did so. So I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool if you have a group, an online group of GTA 5 players who fly online on GTA, but follow this air traffic control protocol. We can fly from one airfield to the next. So I made those and made some cool videos there, and until I reached, obviously, the limitations of GTA. I thought I would like to learn more realism, and that turned me to Flight Simulator, and then I found PilotEdge and thought, yes, it exists. So that's the story in a nutshell. You started at Flight Clan, right? Yeah, I started it, yeah, and it's become very popular. I got thousands of subscribers and visits and stuff. So I recently posted a video there on the GTA Flight Crew saying, I've got Uncertified Pilot right now. So I guess some of you here online now are familiar with GTA 2. I thought, okay, there's Tim again, now flying on Flight Sim. So it's getting cozy here. Okay. Continue. Engine start, guys. We need to get out of here. If we wait too long, perhaps that bad stuff coming from the ocean will mess up our departure. Engine start. First, we need power for an engine start. There it is. Then we need a fuel pump. There it is. Mixture full. 1, 2, 3. Notice the fuel flow there. Fuel pump off, so the engine is primed. 1/4 inch open, something like that. We need to reach 1200 RPM. Hand on the mixture, and we are all set. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, in the real world now, I should actually tap my toe brakes while on parking brake. But in Flight Simulator, if I tap my toe brakes, the parking brake is released. And I would like to do that toe brake thing because I think it's more realistic. So now I'm going to release the parking brake, because otherwise it would release on its own. And now I'm pressing my toe brakes on my own while I'm starting up my engine, which seems more realistic. I'm hearing airplanes, and I don't see them. So, oh, there it is. There's the Mooney. Okay. So, is the prop area clear? No people flow here by ORBX. No. Behind is also cool. So here we go. Clear prop. And there she goes. Full mixture. 1200 RPM. That's about right. We look at the oil pressure. We can see it rising. It should be in the green within 30 seconds. And it does. Then we're gonna lean for max RPM, so we look at a slight RPM drop. There it is, and then put in some mixture, and there we are. We're set to 1000, and then we can turn on the generator. And now you can see the battery here giving a big charge, because we drained it obviously by doing those tests, the exterior light test, and well, all that stuff. Flaps down, so now it's recharging, which is a good thing. And we can turn on the avionics and turn off, retract our flaps. There they go. And we don't see any annunciator messages here. Obviously the cylinder head temperature is still not in the green and the old temperature isn't, so we need to allow our beautiful airplane to warm up. Now I'm getting tired of pressing the toe brakes, so I'm going to release them and put the parking brakes on really quickly. Yeah, that worked. Randomly Adam, I'm assuming you post all of these to YouTube. Yeah, every flight I make on Twitch I upload to YouTube, so you won't miss a thing. Just subscribe to Uncertified Pilot on YouTube and you'll see the exact same thing here. So the entire video. Not a problem. Okay, so that completes the engine start. Did I forget anything I think of? No, transponder will come in the next checklist. So I guess that was it. Let me check. My flows. Battery on. Fuel pump we did. Propeller mixture. Fuel pump. Propeller brakes. Magnetos we did. Alternator we did. M meter we checked. That's the charge. Battery charge. It's called the M meter. Oil pressure within 30 seconds we didn't know. Annunciator. Messages. Mixture throttle flaps. Cabin. Light heat we don't need. Good. Avionics master arm was already part of the next checklist. That's true. So then let's continue with that. See if I can do that by heart. Well. Randomly Adam, brilliant, thanks. I can't wait to watch more of these. Cool. Well, hoping to see you next time. No problem. Okay, so here we are. Transponder we can now set to on here in Oceano. There are other airports where we need to put it on altitude, which is depicted on the airport diagram like John Wayne, but here in Oceano this is okay. And now we should set the radios. So let me just turn off TrackIR. Yeah. So CTAF on Oceano, it's already set, but I'm just going to show you guys. 1 to 2.7. 1 to 2.7, switch back. 1 to 2.7 on COM1. Yeah, and on standby we've got 118.3, which is the ATIS of San Luis, right? No, it isn't. It's the ATIS of something else. Okay, 120.6. Oh no, I put that in on COM. Yeah, that's what I did. On yeah, so you can what you can do, which is something that I should, well, optimize more, I guess, is to stick to particular usage of the radios. So some guys use the COM1 just for the high priority communication with air traffic control, and COM2 for ATIS, for example. I like that distinction. Unfortunately, PilotEdge, the receiver, doesn't really work well switching between COM1 and COM2, so I'm only using COM1 in this instance. I guess it isn't improved or fixed yet. So I use COM2, the COM2s for ATIS, and the COM1s for switching between tower, departure, ground, and that stuff. So what did I say? 120.6. Yeah, so it's already in the COM2. So let's listen to the ATIS, and I'm going to write it down again on my ForeFlight iPad. Guys, if you're new to this, ride with me. The ATIS. Let's see if we can catch it in one single time. So scratchpad. Here we are. The ATIS template. Let's turn on the COM2 radio. Here we go. This is from San Luis North. Crispy, I use direct entry mode on COM2 for ATIS stuff and have the preset set for my regular airports. You should try setting presets for your main frequency on COM1 and ATIS yeah, so that's what I mentioned. Yeah, I guess so too. Thanks. COM2, here we go.
San Luis Airport information, Whiskey 19 report 6 Zulu, wind 176 at frequency, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky condition, ceiling 1,600 broken, temperature 172.12, altimeter 3025, ILS runway 11 in use, landing and departing runway 11.
You've got whiskey.
Aircraft, any direction of flight, all aircraft read back with short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact. You have whiskey.
Yeah.
San Luis Airport information, whiskey.
Goodbye. Yeah, so 176 wins. 176 wins. So that means actually, but we're not going to do that, that we should depart 11. Runway 11. But we're not going to, because it's only 6 knots, which is considered winds calm, so it doesn't really affect our flight. And this is the other reason. The Mooney departs, the drone doesn't care about the winds and just departs on the 29er runway each and every time. And I would not fly into that guy, so that's why we're going to depart at 292. Makes sense, right? 3025. 3025. Yeah, so you can see if I just put the altimeter to the elevation altitude, airport elevation altitude of Oceano, it automatically corresponds with the pressure, right? That makes sense. So you can see it was already set to 3025 because that needs to correspond. So it's okay. Visibility more than 20 miles. So that's okay. Ceiling at broken at 1600. So that means if it's overcast or broken, that means marginal VFR. If it's scattered or few, it's considered VFR. So if you have a ceiling at 1000 feet scattered, you can still see on sky vector that it's VFR. But broken or overcast, then it's getting too dense, too covered up the sky by clouds, and then they say it's marginal VFR. And if you switch, you can see that at St. Louis it's already the blue color marginal VFR. Okay, that's cool. We've got our ADAS, we've got our altimeter. What do we set next? Well, if we're gonna fly, obviously once we depart Oceano, we don't need Oceano frequency anymore. So what do we need next? Well, in terms of ADAS, the next one that we're gonna pick up would be Meadows. I mean, these uncontrolled airports don't have ADAS. This doesn't have one. Yeah, so that's the one that we're going to pick up soonest. So that is ADAS 118.6. So back to the cockpit, 118.6. We're going to put that into COM2. 118.6. Got it in standby. Yeah, next one is just the regular COM frequency. Well, that's 122.7 obviously, because we're going to depart there, the primary radio 1. Next up would be Taft. That is the first airport that we're going to cross and do some announcements, hoping to do some touch and goes there, which is on 122.8. So let's put that into the standby frequency of COM1, 120.8. I love these Saitek panels. Have a look at my introductory video, guys, for some nice captures of my cockpit, my physical cockpit here. It looks cool. It works so awesome, awesomely. Yeah. So those are the comms. Makes sense. Eventually, when we depart Taft, I guess we will switch to the Bakersfield, which is again 122.8. So here you can see a scenario in the real world, and that would also apply to a PilotEdge. This is 122.8, and this airport is also 122.8. So if we are on that frequency, we might hear pilots on both airports, and that could be confusing. And that's why it's so important in an uncontrolled airport like Oceano or Bakersfield. In just in an hour or so, you need to repeat the airport's name twice. So at the beginning of the announcement, and at last at the last part. Mike, thank you. Welcome on board. Thank you for following. Because then, as a pilot, you know what the announcement is for at which airport. Yeah, but chances are it's not that busy on PilotEdge currently, but that's the whole idea. So you can see this more often. That's why these CTEFs are shared among airports, and that's why it's important to be so brief and concise when you're with your announcements, because if you've got two guys on one airport, two guys on the other, you already have 4 guys on the channel, right? So that really makes the frequency very congested, and it also applies to PilotEdge. So, well, just saying. Blah, 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 blah. What are all the dots in that area on the map? These black ones. Good question. I do not know. Guys, look it up and let me know. Let me see. My dad. Saitek, I don't fly. Yeah. Also, guys, my dad, Frank, will join us in one of our future flights. I'm really looking forward to do that. First by voice chat. So he will also take a closer look at the chat, and we are gonna chat about Flight Simulator and answer your questions, which might be cool. But in the future, what I really like to do with him is do shared cockpit experience, that we're gonna fly together in an airplane. Well, A2A doesn't give a proper shared cockpit experience because it's so realistic. That doesn't work. So we're gonna fly a stock airplane, but they look very, very good in prepared. and we're gonna fly on PilotEdge together, and perhaps I can teach him something, or we can chat and we can, well, just explore Southern California, which would be so cool. But that's in some future episodes. Yeah, so where was I? Com radio. So now the navigation com radios, not the communication, but the navigation radios. Obviously fellows we need to check in. So that's 117.5. 117.5. Nav 1, I guess. Does that correspond? Is that Nav 1? No, that's Com 2. Ah, yeah. Come on. Nav 1. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Nav 1. What was the frequency? 117.5. So 117.5 was already checked in. Okay, cool. 117.5. Do we need another on standby? Perhaps for the diversion alternates. Well, if we need to go that direction, well, we could use this VFR of Palmdale, but well, that's not really necessary. We could just fly on heading, I think. So that's okay. Saitek, I wish A2A would support check. Yeah, me too. I would also wish they would do that. But what they do, and I already posted that on the forums. The guy said, well, yeah, we would love to, but there are so many variables going on right now in the cockpit and cylinder head stuff and everything that we cannot share that through the default shared cockpit transmission channel to the other guy who is flying with you. So then you get really strange scenarios in which my cylinder head temperature is different from the other guy, and then, well, then things get really weird. So that's why they can't. But again, I've looked at the default. I've already picked the default flight for to fly with my dad, and it looks amazing. But it isn't that realistic as A2A's aircraft, unfortunately. But then the focus will be much more flying together, having fun, getting to know PilotEdge and that kind of stuff. But perhaps they will fix it in a future improvement. We'll never know. Yeah, so com radio. Yeah, navigation radio. So no other thing to set. ADF, perhaps something else we can use. No, I don't think so. This is all set. I would like to fly. This is taking too long. Okay. We are set. Com radio we checked. This is all set. No announcements. Yeah, we can set the heading back to 29er because we're going to depart there. We don't need to talk with ATC here. We are done. Something that annoys me is something I noticed at the previous episode too. My Cessna Yoke somehow is not calibrated properly. You can see it is turned a little bit to the left. So I actually need to increase my null zone of my yoke, which I find annoying. So just a minute, guys. Yoke. Let me see if that improves. Yeah, that improves a bit. I don't want to increase it too much because that null zone is not something I like. Menu, so if we now turn, yeah, it's okay. It's fine. Sufficer COM1 standby is set to 120.8 instead of 122. That's a good notice of you. Thank you so much. But I'm just going to check for sure. I guess you're right. It should be, yeah, so what I did was tuned in to this frequency, right? 122.8. You see how these mistakes sneak in? Thank you. COM1 122.8. Guys, you are my co-pilots. Let me know, because these mess ups will occur much more often. I'm just a beginner. Okay. We're done here. Let me check if I'm really done here. Avionics we did, com radios we did, com1, com2, ADIS we obtained, altimeter we set, heading and clock. We can. Isn't really that necessary, but well, because we're going to fly through the clouds, perhaps we need to be aware of icing. We can set it to universal time here. If the air traffic controllers refer to time, we're not going to talk with air traffic controllers, but if we do, they are going to refer to Zulu time, universal time. So I would like to have that referenced or nearby so I can have an idea what they're saying. Transponder reset, heading block, taxi lights we don't need, oil and cylinder head temperature should be in the green now, I guess. Yeah, they are. So that's a good thing. So that's only important for the run-up. For taxi, we can taxi if they're not in the green, but then use low RPM. And this is also something that I find weird in Flight Simulator. You can see how we moved on with the parking brake on. That doesn't happen in real life. Why is that set in Flight Simulator that we move very slowly? Is there something that we can fix that? Is there some configuration file that I can change so it just stays where it is? It seems weird. Com radio, propeller, and mixture. Yeah, that's all set. So taxi to the runway, brakes, crosswind correction, taxi on loose, heading. Yeah, that's okay. We're gonna taxi to 29. Okay, guys, camera is set. Let's turn on TrackIR. Let's remove the parking brake. Whoop, there we go. Make a turn to the left. Right, I mean. There we go. We lost that clear sky, guys, to make that circle. Circling to 7,500. Can you see? We should go to there, to that place. But there's a restricted area, I think, on north of us. So we should do that brief one more time when we depart. Yeah. Oceana traffic, Skylane, Tango, India, Mike is crossing runway 11 at the numbers. Oceana. Runway is clear. This leg is clear too. According to the VFR legend, the dots are marine lights. Marine lights? That many? I don't think that they are marine lights. I read something about that at the AOPA flight training magazine yesterday, but those looked like colored ones, not black ones, but blue ones, and they were on lakes. I should test my brakes, guys. I'm chatting too much. They work. I should check my turn indicator. It turns with the direction that I'm taxiing, so that's a good thing. And the slip indicator also goes to the opposite direction. That also works. Turn indicator turns along. Or the heading indicator turns in the right direction. Airspeed is alive. That's that headwind. Not only the taxi speed, because we got that 176 wind coming in. And we should apply yaw correction that I forgot. Now it is coming from the front, so we're actually flying underneath the wind here. So we're gonna press forward and a little bit towards the wind, so to the right, something like this, to prevent the airplane from catching the wind and tumbling down or something, getting on its head. I can see in the distance that Mooney, which is now on base. You can see it here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but other traffic there. That airway on front that's crossing Oceano is here. Where are we going to fly, break through that cloud ceiling and go to 7,500 feet? There's that Mooney. And here's our run-up area. I would like to see him land with an engine off. And a really bad flare. Okay, run-up area. I'm going to remove that yaw correction or crosswind correction here. There we go. Run up. We can put it here because the wind is coming from that direction, and we need every cooling we need, and we're not. Our blast way is not really on the taxiway, I guess. Thank you for following. Click laptop 903. Thank you. Welcome on board. So this is okay for now. I will not use parking brakes, but just my toe brakes, because that's what they do in the real world is too. Lumiere, thank you for following. So, run up. By heart, what we do is mixture full, prop full. That's set. Fuel tank is to both. Trim is set. That's all okay. On. We don't need that. This is the most important part. Cylinder head temperature in the green. Oil temperature is in the green. That's okay. We should close our windows because dust or other stuff might come in. We are headed into the wind. There's no one in front and behind us yet. So let's do our run up. We're gonna go to 1800 RPM. There we are. No annunciator messages here. Everything seems stable. Oil pressure is okay. Nothing weird going on. Then we're going to do our magneto check. So left, slide drop, but no problems at all. And right, slide drop, no problems at all. Cool. Then we're going to turn on our landing lights to see if the M-meter or the battery is actually working. Have a look at the M-meter. Bloop, you can see there was a reaction, which is good. Turn it off again. Then we're gonna use check the propeller. Prop full aft. RPM, obviously you can hear it. It works. Then the manifold pressure should rise if we do a prop check. There it goes. It rises slightly. It's okay. And the oil pressure should drop only briefly and then reset itself. Yeah, so the governor is actually working. That's okay. Again, no annunciator messages here. Going to full to idle to see if the engine doesn't stop. It doesn't. Oil pressure is still there. No annunciator messages here. So we are go. Reset to 1000 RPM. And we completed the run-up, I believe. So, yeah, sorry, Flight Saitek. I should make MooBot less strict. It doesn't allow us all to share any links, I believe. So I should reset. My apologies. I guess it's very useful for you guys to share links, but I'm avoiding spam as much as I can here. Okay, so let's see if I completed my checks. Run up. Flight control checks we missed. Yeah. Com radio we don't need. Oil temperature we checked. Throttle magnetos we did. Oil pressure we did. Cylinder header we did. Propeller we did. Mixture we did. I'm hearing that other guy coming behind us. Okay, so the flight controls. If I turn to the left, that one should be down. And if I turn to the right, that one should be down. And it works. Then elevator works. And the rudder works too. So those are checked. We are done. So what we're going to do is we're going to depart. Cabin door, seatbelts, fuel access to both. Cowl flaps are open. Elevator trim we should set to takeoff. And I don't prefer that setting, but I would like it on the K of takeoff, because this thing rockets like a rocket on departure, and I don't like that. Yeah, elevator trim, flaps, I'm not going to use those. Mixture, propeller, we did transponder set to altitude mode because we're going to fly. We're going to gain altitude, so that's good. Pilot takeoff briefing, traffic pattern, and clock. Yeah, that other guy is coming in. Yeah, behind. We should let him go first, or it's going to fly in us. But I've disabled collision, so now I'm going in front of him. So guys, landing lights on, strobe lights on. We're just take off. Let's do a crosswind leg. Let's remain on 1000 feet. We should be clear of the clouds. Oceana traffic, Skylane, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike is departing runway 29er for left traffic. We're gonna depart the crosswind leg, Oceana. There we go. Full throttle, engine looks cool, everything is in the green. Heading matches, airspeed's alive, 50, 60, that's rotation speed, so slight pull on the yoke. And there we go, put in that right rudder. There we go, trim up a bit. Yeah, I shouldn't put that much trim down. And keep it on VY, that's 80 knots. There we go. There's space to the right. not on the left. So let's go to crosswind. And we're going to depart at the 45 degree leg. That's what we're going to do. Ocean traffic Skyline Tango India Mike is departing the traffic area 45 degree to the west to 1,500 feet. Oceano. There we go. Slight turn. Increasing speed a bit. Getting out of the way of that Mooney. Guys, thank you for following, but I'm focused on flying right now. Thank you. Welcome on board. 1,000 feet. There we go. So this is about 45 degrees, I guess. Looking at the heading bug. Keep on that climb. And I'm still pulling on that yoke, so a little bit more trim. There are clouds that we should avoid, so let's turn to the right. Make sure there are no other drone or other airplanes on that right side. There we go. Slight turn, only 15 degrees max in this turn. Guys, thank you for following. Welcome on board. There's some traffic above. Can you see him? That's that airway that crosses. So my plan is here. Let's make turns to the right while we are climbing to 7,500 feet. It's getting cozy here, guys. I don't know if I have that many seats in my Skylane for you all to join me. Let me see. This is some blue skies that we can make use of. There is Oceano. And there's that Mooney. It's over here. So it's departing to the right, which isn't standard procedure. Okay. Going up. Now we need to be careful here, because while we are making circles here to the right, we cross that airway. Have a look at Sky Vector at Oceano. You can see there's an airway flying just above Oceano, and that airway obviously is a place where a lot of other planes fly. Okay, 3,000 feet. So far so good. We've got a VOR response here. We receive it. Can we also listen to its Morse code or its identification code? How can you do that? Well, not like so. I don't know. Okay, there's that cloud layer. Seems about right. 4,000 feet, 5,000 feet tops. So let's continue our climb. And I'm noticing that I'm giving a lot of right aileron, because if I don't, the airplane starts to turn to the left. But I guess that's because of our high power setting. Let's get out of our high power setting, because it's bad for the engine. And let's just get a regular en route climb here. So I'm gonna go to 75% or so on the throttle. Then I'm gonna set the propeller to about 2,100 RPM, which sounds nicer. Between 2,100 and 2,300 is good. You can already hear it, right? And you can see the cylinder head temperature was already pretty high, because we've been in that high power setting for quite some time. Some build-ups there in the distance, which don't look good. Okay, again, I'm gonna make a turn to the right. We're already 1,000 feet above that cloud here, so that's okay. Keep in that climb. And while we do, we lean the mixture. And while we do, we keep an eye on that EGT, exhaust gas temperature, to get it as high as possible, to get our best economical performance. Keep an eye on that airspeed. And on traffic. This is fun, guys. I miss flying. All that hangar talk and ground school studying is cool, but eventually this is the shit. EGT is rising. You can see we can set this knob here, that you can see that orange needle as a reference point what our highest EGT was, so we know that we should lean if necessary. Pull out the ident just to the left and down of the frequency switch on the nav thing. Okay, I will look to that in just a moment. I guess you mean here. That one. Or that one. Concerned with the clouds here. I mean, still it feels like a gamble to get this high and then make that crossover to... Okay, that's San Luis Airport. You can see it there. It's always good weather above the clouds. The sun always shines. Take a look at our airspeed there. Perhaps use a little bit more power. I don't like the fact that my ailerons are messed up, or my yoke calibration is not set properly. We are on level. We should keep in that climb. Okay, we're now at 6,000. We need to go to 7,500. So what we can do is just go already to that VOR, the fellow VOR, because we have some clear skies in front of us while we are climbing. So we are already on our way. Okay, so let me see. That's from reading. I want the 2 reading. There's the 2 reading. There we are. Blub, 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 blub. Yeah. So just let's fly or catch the eastbound radial. It's over there. So we need to go to the left a bit. Just for fun's sake, just to practice how to get that inbound radial. Speed is okay. Yeah, shall we just open... I should close my cowl flaps by now, because now enough wind is going into the engine through those intakes. But because our engine is still quite warm, as you can see in the cylinder here, and the oil, I will keep it open. There we go, no other traffic. So that's the soup, the cloud soup that we need to cross over. And it doesn't feel safe, so actually I should... But we are high enough, and it corresponds with our weather briefing that we are high enough. We still have 1,000 feet, about 1,000 feet to go. So that's okay. I love the shadows coming in the cockpit. Steady climb, good trim, good speed. Transponder is set. Everything is okay. Our first cross-country flight in marginal VFR conditions. Yeah, that's good practice. 7,000, and we are continuing. Thank you for following. 10 Penny Tower, welcome on board. Okay, so I'll wait until we reach 7,500, then I trim, and then I'm going to play with that knob on the nav radios to see if I can get that Morse code. That would be cool too, to practice how to identify those beacons through Morse. There are some great apps on iPhone and iPad that can do that. That little white button can show you what radial inbound output you are. Okay, cool. But the trigger, but the bigger black one is the ident. Okay, so I guess that's this one. That's nav 11750. Yeah, so let's check. Can I do that? Click. Can I turn it? Doesn't do a thing. I don't know. Oh, 7,500. Don't do things simultaneously. Come on. So, using the yoke. First, reduce that power. Allow the airspeed to increase. I can see that the radial here, the OBS, I don't know what this thing is called, is already creeping up on us, which is a good thing. But still, trim a bit. And as our airspeed increases, our airplane likes to pitch up. Chris, welcome on board. And please fasten your seatbelts and enjoy our ride, because this is a flight to hell. As you can see, that mountain ridge is already peeking through that cloud layer, so we can infer the cloud ceiling. Can anyone look that up? Sky vector, what is that mountain range? So we have an idea of the cloud ceiling. There we go, that's a little bit too much nose down trim, and therefore our airspeed will increase and our nose will go up again. Flyboy, first things first, that nav ident button thing is not important in this stage of flight, focus on flying first. Yeah, that's true, but well, I'm curious about how that works, because I don't know if there are any VOR frequencies or beacons that are so nearby that, well, in this case 117.5 can actually be 2 beacons. You can accidentally fly towards the wrong one, and that's why it's important to identify using that identification Morse code. But I don't know if that's a real world possible scenario. We are flying, guys. Imagine in many future episodes ahead, flying in the soup, in the clouds, IFR. That's gonna happen. I would like to learn how to fly and get my instrument rating in Flight Simulator as best I can. To me, that seems impossible right now to get those master and develop those skills. Rush, really enjoying your approach to how you treat the flight sim. I'm a huge advocate in using the... Yeah, me too. Well, it is a flight simulator. It's for flight training, so yeah, I totally agree. I mean, nothing wrong with casual flying, but to me, this enriches the flight simulator experience. What Bonanza will let you hear in the nav Morse code? Will let you hear the nav Morse code. Okay. $7,500. Yeah, so this is trimmed. Again, you can see the cylinder head temperature is already gone a bit low. Not too low, but it's getting cooler, which is a good thing. So I guess we can already close our cowl flaps. So let's do that. Plop, there it goes. And we are... There are too many things going on here. We are already on our eastbound radial here. We already passed it, so I should have turned earlier. Well, in a Cessna, things don't change that rapidly, so that's okay. And while we turn, we lose altitude. Thank you for following, Whiskey. While we make our turn, we should pitch up. Thank you. Welcome on board. Come on, make that turn a little bit more aggressively. Also, what I like, by the way, perhaps you notice it too, and let's check whether our heading indicator is synced up with our compass, because that's another error that can happen. Look at that outlook. That seems much more friendly than going that direction. That's that north area that we talked about in the weather briefing. That's that IFR region. Yay. A little bit more to the south to catch on that radial again. Again, 7,500. So far, so good. Thank you for following, Duo. It's getting cozy. 48 passengers on board in a Skylane. Let me see. They were now flying 100 degrees, somewhat like that. Well, that corresponds to the magnetic compass, so that's okay. Speed is okay. Why is my yoke calibrated wrongly? I don't get it. I've flown with this a couple of times. I didn't have any trouble, and suddenly it's that little nudge that gets me frustrated. Still watching the earlier episodes on YouTube, but glad to join your community. This is the exact kind of series I would love to make if I had the time. Glad to see someone doing. Cool, Whiskey. Thank you for the encouragement. We're on the eastbound radial now. I mean, I guess there are many flight simulator pilots out there who are looking for serious flight training. I mean, for me personally, if I look at Twitch now and you see what other guys are streaming, it's just the airplane fly itself, an airliner, and you just see a static view, and that's it. I don't think that is fun, personally. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know how complex it is or can be to fly in an airliner. I mean, if you look at Keith Smith, CEO of PilotEdge, his videos, my gosh, doing his shared cockpit flying, that is something else. But most of the stuff that is streamed on Twitch to me is just casual flying, which is fun with some background tune, but not that fun. So eastbound, we're on that radial. Can we see the distance? Yeah, 18 nautical miles to go. Yeah. So can we already receive ADIS of Meadows? So let's switch our COM2 to Meadows. Bloop. And let's turn on COM2. Nope, we can't. We're too far away. Let's leave it there. Anwar, thank you for following. Welcome. And guys, please use the chat, not only to chat with me, but with the others on the chat channel here that are viewing the channel, because chances are there are some guys watching now that have a lot more experience than I have. So really make use of the channel by getting to know others too. Thank you, Flyboy. Yeah, this is real flying. And also no autopilot. I've got some rules that I've stated in the early in my introductory video, saying I will not fly the autopilot and I will not use the GPS. I actually bought the GTN 750, which is a gorgeous device to put in the A2A simulation. It's just an iPad built in, and it shows you exactly where you are. And that's the problem. I mean, that's the scale, that's the muscle, the brain muscle that I like to develop, to create and develop my own mental picture of where I am, and using PilotEdge and VOR and flight skills of actually flying, rather than using an autopilot and moving the heading bug. I'm Jiggle. Thank you for following. Welcome on board. So as you can see, the cylinder temperature is now rising a bit because we close our cowl flaps. Oil temperature is fine, just in the green. Oil pressure is good. We've got our COM2 on, so as soon as we are in reach, we might hear them. Or the ATIS, I mean. 13 nautical miles to go, which is okay. So let's prepare for the next leg as soon as we cross fellow VOR, because then we need to already prepare a descent. So if you look, let me think, guys. So the outlook now, if we look in front of us, there is space for us to descend. We've chosen this altitude to cross that mountain ridge in front of us, but also to get over the clouds, which work perfectly. As I see not too many clouds in front of us, we could already start the descent as soon as we cross that mountain ridge. So we are sure that we are underneath the clouds. The problem that might arise is if the clouds are too low and the terrain would go up again, we are, in trouble. So perhaps it's more safe to go over it rather than underneath it. But that's why I'm interested in hearing that ATIS of Meadows, because then we know if that IMC is still active. And we haven't better idea of the of clouds. On my flight here, I can already see some cloud buildups there. So yeah, that's something that I yeah, Dad, thanks for letting the guys know. So one thing that I would love to do this year is go to the Flight Sim Con. It's the flight simulator convention in the States. I don't know what city location, but it's north of New York. And most of all the developers will be there, including Frugal. A2A will be there. I'm hoping PilotEdge, Keith Smith, would also visit. ORBX will be there. X-Plane developers will be there. Aerosoft CEO will be there. There are presentations there. There are all kinds of cockpit building guys that I would like to go there and interview those guys and ask them questions about serious flight simulator flying. And I should remain on that radial. Sorry guys, not that important, by the way, to get on that radial. I just picked that one, but still I should be focused. On this altitude we will fly into that cloud over there, so eventually we need to divert to the left. But anyway, Flight Sim Con 2016. So what I did as a donation goal.
Airport information, Oscar 2029 Zulu, wind 278 at 4, visibility 3,
thermal.
sky condition, ceiling 1000, overcast, temperature 12, 2.10, altimeter 3025, ILS runway 30 right and visual runway 30 left in use. Landing and departing, runway 30 right.
An overcast ceiling, 1,000 feet. That's not good. There's a thermal here, thermal activity. Did you see how I was pushed up? 300 feet. And guess what? That's the mountain ridge that is pushing us up. Let's stick to that radial. Fly first. Yeah, that's okay. IMC conditions, or IMC, I mean instrument meteorological conditions. So IMC over meadows. Damn. So chances are also IMC at Bakersfield. Man, we're getting pushed up. Thank you for following Airbus Cloud. But anyway, Flight Sim Con, I would like to visit. So that's why I set up that donation goal beneath in the bar below in my overlay for you guys to donate if you like the channel, to encourage me doing this, allow me to go there, and in return I will interview those developers, vlog that, and ask them your questions, and post that on YouTube to let them know that there are some serious flight simmers in the world. So if we reach that $1,000 goal, I can get flight tickets. I mean, from the Netherlands to the States, it's a big trip. So I'm hoping by the 1st of May this year we reach that donation goal. That will be so cool. And I stream, and I will go there and let you guys know. And we can ask A2A to get that shared cockpit experience going on. There we are again. Radials over there. So eastbound. Again, we are on track. I mean, it's sloppy what I'm doing here. Oh, we're getting close. That's what happens. 1 nautical mile. We're already on fellow. That's what happens. That's why it's so sensitive, this needle. Okay. So, guys, I need to fly here. Browser. Let me see if I can do this simultaneously. So we're now here. We need to go there. So that's a 70 degree. Yeah. So let's use PilotEdge to find that that airport. And if I look at the weather, we can do touch and goes there. But I don't know if that's a good thing to do, because we're wasting gallons of fuel, and well, obviously we could stay there if the weather doesn't improve. Yeah, I would like to practice some traffic patterns. Should we do it, guys? You say it. Let me know. Vote. Say yes if you'd like me to descend and do some touch and goes on, what is it called? This airfield. Taft. Chicken, thank you. Let me know, guys. Should we descend or not? And I will steer away from that cloud in front of us, because that doesn't look pretty. And while we do, we can look underneath, look down to see if we can spot that airport, but I guess it's just in front of us. Thank you for the follow. We got a yes, we got one no, we got two yeses. Would you like me to descend, or should we go straight on to Bakerfield? Where is Taft? That's perhaps a better question to ask. And I'm climbing. You stay on track, my dad says. What was the question again? Well, if we are going to descend to Taft Airport, the uncontrolled airport below, just to do some touch and goes, and then we continue to Bakersfield. Or should we just go direct to Bakersfield by now, because the weather... I mean, if you look at this valley, here to the right you see this mountain range, there's a mountain range. Here the weather seems okay. But behind that mountain ridge you can see the overcast layer already, generated by ActiveSkyNext, that we already saw on the on ATIS and saw on the weather briefing. So this could also be an alternate, but I guess we should stick to the one that we planned for. There's a green spot over there. Perhaps that is Taft. Yes, yes, yes. We've got more yeses. No, we've got no more yeses. Yeah, guys, you're the co-pilot. What are we going to do? Not a convincing vote. Well, first, let's see if we can see Taft. To me, what signals an airport is that green patch there. Okay, so let's make a gentle turn here and let's view the map again. Yeah, so there was it. We might have flown too far that direction, and it should be on the right side. And is there anything else we can do in terms of PilotEdge? There's a railroad track or some cities here. No. We are climbing too much. I think that is Taft. Thank you for following. Welcome on board. Choose the safest. Yeah, that's true. Well, there's two ways of approaching that question. I mean, the weather here is good. It's perfectly VFR. We are clear from clouds. This is fun flying here, and I'm not should. Again, a thermal of 1,000 feet per second climb. I guess that's generated by that cloud. Stay on altitude. But on the left side you can see the overcast layer already. So chances are we couldn't even reach Bakersfield. So what we can do is I just do a touch and go here on Taft. See what it looks like. And then depart, go over that ridge to the east and see how far we can go, otherwise turn around. Again, let's listen to ATIS by Meadows to see if perhaps the weather has already improved.
Bakersfield Airport information, Quebec 2037.
Bakersfield, okay.
Zulu, wind 278 at 4. Visibility 3. Sky conditions
3.
Clear. Temperature 12, dew point 10. Altimeter 3025.
Was clear, right?
Runway 30 right and visual. Runway 30
Man.
left in use. Landing in the...
Okay, so 3 statute miles of visibility. That's barely VFR. But clouds were clear. It's clear sky. So that's not good. No. Final vote. Well, is it an airport? That's the whole thing. Because now, when I look, I don't see any runway whatsoever. I'm not convinced that that is theft. I'm not convinced at all. Let's make a turn. Already we're descending, but that's okay because not descending too much, but good speed. There's that cloud, which is still far in front of us. No, that's not theft. I can see some roads here. Where is theft? I mean, this is the stuff that I like. Looking for an airport rather than just looking or glancing at your GPS. That should be a small city. I would triangulate your position, then go ahead and make a decision. Yeah, where are we? That's also a good question first, before we start to look. Well, one reference point that we have is at VOR. We can fly and return to that. Oh, that's too much pitch up. I mean, how far are we from that radial? 10 nautical miles we are away from that VOR. Again, let's have a look at the map. Yeah, it should be after the mountain ridge. So, city. Okay, we're getting too close to that cloud. Should remain clear. Again, right turn, have a look. Trim a bit. I love the way how A2A simulates that wind sound on the windshield. So just listening to the wind, you know whether you are too slow or... Theft? Where the hell are you? But that looks like an airport. Well, it isn't. We've already went there. I never thought it would be that difficult. What is over there? There seems like a lake to the north. Let's have a look. Yeah, that corresponds, right? You can see it here. So that means that we are flying in this valley and not that one. That is what's wrong. Yeah, it's in front of us. Look, guys. There it is. You can already see it. That's theft. We misidentified this valley. So again, you can see, let's zoom in. We were flying in this area. Could we prevent that? Well, we could have used the map to measure how far theft would be from the radial, from the VOR, from fellow. And using that, we could already know that we wouldn't expect seeing theft at 12 nautical miles from that VOR. And then we knew that we should keep on flying. Okay, so let's switch to theft. It's 12208. Yeah, 1228. So let's switch. Boom. We are at 6,000. We need to descend. So let's pull on the throttle again. Cylinder head temperature is low, so let's close the cowl flaps a bit. And there is theft. It's on the right side there, beneath that cloud layer. Let's announce that we are inbound. And it's left hand, I believe. It is. And it's runway 07. Yeah, that corresponds. So 07. But the winds are coming from the other direction, I think. Let me see on ForeFlight here. METAR. Winds 290. 290. 290. So we should land on the other side. So that's left hand, so we can enter the left downwind. That's what we're going to do. Okay, let's announce. Theft traffic, Skylane Papa Hotel Tango India. Mike is about 8 miles west of the airport at 5,500. Inbound for the left downwind runway 25. Full touch and go. Theft. Said that very slowly. And I was thinking while I did my announcement, and I should actually think first and then do my announcement. And we are much too high. So perhaps we need to circle here and take a close look at the weather. I mean, it's looking nasty. It's looking like some kind of sandstorm that is coming towards us. So let's set the heading buck to 25. 25. It's over there. Still the compass corresponds. Yeah. Or the heading indicator corresponds. Okay. There we go. Cloud ceilings look okay. There's the city, obviously. So that, and there's that other stuff over there. So that corresponds. But we are on another altitude. So how high should we fly? What is the elevation of Thurn? Let me check quickly. 860. 860. So what does that mean? 860 plus 1,000? Does that work? It's 1,800. What was the altimeter? I should have checked Meadows' altimeter.
Bakersfield Airport information, Romeo 2045 Zulu. Wind 278 at 4. Visibility 3. Sky condition, ceiling 400, overcast. Temperature 12, dew point 10. Altimeter 3025.
3025. 3025. It's the same. Okay. Cool. I'm just making a turn here because I'm too high and unprepared to enter. Getting close to that mountain. And I need to descend, Tim, not climb. 1 notch of flaps I put in. Okay, so oh, I didn't turn off my landing lights while I was flying. They're still on. Do your checks. I didn't have the checklist in my hand the entire time. My cruise checks and that stuff, bad. Should improve on that. Okay, there we are. This is about right. Still a bit too high, but we're going to do that. Theft traffic. Skylane Papa Hotel Tango India Mike is 3 miles southwest of the airport at 3,800, entering the left downwind runway 25 for touch and go. Theft was better than announcement. Still we're much too high. So let's do our trick, and that is forward slip. There we go. And is the... Oh, whoa, sorry. I was looking at the cylinder head temperature. It's very, very low. Too low. And I thought, what did I do with the cowl flaps? And they were open. And I didn't close them. I should monitor my engine while I'm flying. So this is actually not a good thing. So chances are that we're going to be in engine trouble. Okay, no other traffic here. There's a cloud in front of us. But remember, when we are below 1,200 feet AGL, we are in G airspace. And so we would just remain clear of clouds, not that 2,000 feet. Looks like a cozy airport. What was that altitude? 1,800? 1,800. It was. That's the traffic pattern altitude. Theft traffic, Skylane, Papa Hotel Tango on your mic is on the left downwind, runway 25, touch and go, theft. Yeah, the elevation was 858, so plus 1,000, that's 1,800. So far so good. Engine temperature, cylinder temperature is still so low. Obviously because I'm on idle, and I should have put in my mixture and my throttle of my propeller. Man, okay, so what's wrong here? Well, the thing that is wrong is that I don't do my checklist. I forget about doing my checklist once I have completed my departure. Man, I don't feel having the time looking at the checklist right now while I'm flying. But well, these are flows that I should memorize. Clear of clouds, guys. So perhaps I should just go on descending already. 4 wides. Still clear of clouds. This is getting tight. I'm just going to turn. Theft traffic, Skylane, Papa Hotel Tango on your mic is left base, runway 25 for touch and go. Theft. Let's put in another notch of flaps. Oh man. I'm feeling like a cowboy. There we are. Much too high, so forward slip immediately. It's dangerous to do full slip with flaps. And the manual, it states that you shouldn't do that. Well, not with full flaps. But so there we go. Right rudder I put in. You can see we are descending quite fast, about 900 feet per minute, while we maintain our airspeed. And that's the whole idea. So there we are. Removing that forward slip, putting in a little bit more of throttle, which I shouldn't actually, because our speed should be 65. Full flaps. There's theft, a little bit of hill in front of us. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Because it was a long time ago since I did my last landing. There we go. Look, by the end of the runway, it feels sloppy. Whoa, it's very sensitive. This is going to be a rough landing. There we are. Flaps up. Regain control here. And let's go full throttle. Man, focus. 60, rotate. There we go. Wow, it's very sensitive. Because we didn't set our trim on for takeoff, I guess. There we go. Is it set? Yeah, now it's set. It was set. I guess that made the yoke a little bit too sensitive. Okay, concentrate. So 300 feet below, so that's 1600. We should make our left turn to crosswind. Have a look if there's no one here. There's no one here. So let's make that turn. At 1500, by the way. I should have made that turn. Not 1600. Okay, release a bit on the power. There comes crosswind. So there we are. Ascend a bit. No one on left. Let's turn to downwind and lose some altitude. Theft traffic, Skylane, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike is on the left downwind, runway 25, touch and go, theft. Keep that airspeed. There's downwind. Make that turn. There we are. Lose some, no, not lose some altitude. We are on the right altitude. So now we should be parallel with the runway, which we are. Speed is about right. Let's put in one notch of flaps. Oh, keep that nose down. Oh, still pitching up too much. It's sloppy, guys. There's so much going on in the traffic pattern. Speed is a bit too low. Altitude is about right. Heading is about right. We're now midfield. Clouds are still okay. There we are. How's our compass? It's okay. A little bit too slow. It should be 80 or 90 even in the downwind leg. And 80 at the base and 75 on final. Okay, so we crossed the numbers. Thank you, Dad. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Okay. So here we go to base. Tail. Man, come on. Tail traffic. Skyline Papa Tail Tango India Mike. Turning left base. Runway 25. Touch and go. Tahoe. What is it called? What's the airport called? I was getting distracted by the cloud. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting into the clouds, and then I'm really fucked. Taft. Taft is it called. Okay, so descending. Focus. 4 wides. Much too high. Nose down. Cylinder head temperature is fine, by the way. Luckily, no problems. Much too high. Okay, so the next traffic pattern will be much better, I promise. There we go. Put in some forward slip again because we're much too high. This is too cowboy-like. There we go. Descend, descend. Yeah, there she comes, but I'm going to descend a bit more. That's too red, that's okay. No, no power. Get rid of that airspeed. There it is. One notch of flaps. Not too slow. Now let's see if we can improve on that landing. My yoke was so sensitive. It seems less, and that's because I trimmed it well. There we are. Better. Flaps up. And there we go again. Should have stayed on center line here. Right rudder a bit. 60. That's rotate and pull. Much more controlled. Better. Better, better, better. So one thing I should do always, and I knew about that, but I just forgot, because it's too much information coming in at the same time. Keeping that 80 knots. Man, this thing rockets. Is GUMPS, is full prop, full mixture, landing lights on, trim set. Because if I don't reset my trim to take off, then you get that sensitive yoke thing. And landing becomes quite impossible, as you've seen. There we are, turn to the left, keep in that right rudder because we're still in full power setting. 15-degree bank, shallow turn because we're still climbing. Now we are on altitude, so I push in on the yoke, can increase my turn, can pull back on the throttle a bit because we are on altitude. There's crosswind leg coming up that heading bug, so turn. There we are. Oh, not climb, push in on that yoke. We can remove the rudder adjustments. Downwind, let's turn. Theft. Theft traffic. Skyline Tango India Mike is turning left downwind, runway 25 for a full stop. Theft. I'm gonna make a full stop, guys, because I'm getting tired. This is really draining my own batteries. There we are. And Bakersfield is too far away, and I really need to chill before I can sleep. I mean, at this rate, I won't sleep at all. But it's so cool. I need to do this so much more often. This is not in any way natural to me. Again, trimmed. On the right, traffic pattern altitude. Good speed. A little bit too fast. We're parallel with the runway. 65 degrees. No. Oh, we're descending. Come on, Tim. Seems I cannot do two things at the same time. Keep in that power. Parallel to the runway. And we are 200 feet below the traffic pattern. That's too low. And we're missing on that heading buck. Nose up. Good. We can put in the first notch of flaps on downwind. So let's make use of that pitch up attitude because we need to gain some altitude here. There we are. There we are. Let's make our turn before we enter those clouds. Theft traffic, Skylane Tango, India Mike is turning left base, runway 25 for a full stop theft. Okay. Now let's get rid of that altitude right away. There we are. Should have watched outside first if there was no other traffic. There's the base leg, but there's some cloud in front of us. The second notch of flaps. Where is that runway? There it is. Okay, so I'm already turning a bit because I would like to stay clear of that cloud. And we can fly as close to this cloud because we are in G airspace and not in Echo airspace. A little bit too slow, but we should not put in throttle there, but just pitch down because we need to lose altitude. Theft traffic, Skylane Tango, India Mike is turning final runway 25 for a full stop theft. Okay, much better. Still too high, but not that high as before. We're too fast. So we're fully aft throttle. We're now on the right glide slope, so keep it there, and then the airspeed will bleed off. Not too quickly because we need to stick at 65. There we are. Full flaps. 3 red. Whoa. Little sloppy still, but still the yoke feels a bit sensitive. Okay. I'm using my throttle too much. It's bad for the engine and it shows a lack of skill. Okay. End of the runway. Eyes locked on the end of the runway. I have all the time in the world. There we go. Keep that glare sheet there. Keep it there, 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 and just let it fall down. No, not the greatest landing, but I stayed on center line a bit. Also, I'm having trouble staying on the center line after landing, so it's really time, I guess, for the next episode. Flaps up to keep on practicing those traffic patterns because they're not pretty at all. Oh man, I'm getting tired. This is really challenging. But I'm glad we are away from Oceano because that place didn't allow me to fly that often. Okay, so there we are. What does that yellow cross mean? I think that we shouldn't land. Oh, let's do. I guess we need some. No, we don't need any fuel. Piper, Cub. Seems more cozy on the right side. Let's go there. So, but let's do our checks here. Mixture, ground operations is about there, and we can set our altimeter or our transponder to the on mode. Turn off landing lights, turn off strobe lights. There we are. That windsog, I think, is static because the winds were not that strong here. I don't know where I'm going to park this thing. I mean, this seems a quite narrow place for me to park. I'll park it over there. Like so. Yeah, next to that Cessna. I don't have any pavement. Okay, well. Let's make that turn. Okay, like so. Well, I'm not gonna put it that close to the hangar. Here. Man, parking brake set. We put our transponder to standby for the next time. This is okay. Avionics off. Mixture full aft. I should have checked the magnetos. We'll do this next time. Magnetos off. Generator, batteries off. Open the door. And we should put our no, not that one, but our pitot cover on, our tie downs, wheel chock, and our control lock. Boom. Boom. Man, guys, thank you for encouraging and joining me on this flight. That was challenging. I mean, did you, well, obviously you noticed that last couple of traffic patterns, man, I'm not there yet. Yeah, so one mistake that I made was I forgot about the flight control check at departure. Thank you for following. Let me see here. Fast. Thank you for following. Flight control check I missed on departure as part of the run-up, but that was not a biggie. Departed. The whole flight planning was a great move. The weather, the ceiling, we did perfectly. The altitude was a good thing. The terrain separation was a good thing. So I think I did great on that on those topics. Thank you for following, Lath. Thank you. But in terms of flying, PilotEdge, I made that mistake by looking for. I'm always forgetting that name. Taft. Because we were in that wrong ridge or valley. We were here and we went over here, but I thought that Taft was on this side of that ridge, but it was on that side. So we were looking in this area, but obviously it wasn't there. And until I saw that lake, I thought, oh, that would be a nice visual reference point. We should be able to find that on the sectional chart. And when I saw that and did that, I thought, oh my gosh, we are here. So that's a dummy mistake. That would be an obvious visual reference. And you guys already mentioned, Tim, triangulate or make sure where you are first and then search for theft, which is the right things to do, the right order. So, yeah. And one thing that we could do in the flight planning, which we skipped, was making sure what the distance was, because you can see it's 21 nautical miles from that VOR to Taft. And I already looked at my DME and saw that we're around 11 nautical miles, which is about here. So I should have known that we were too close to the VOR. So that was a mistake. And obviously the big one were those traffic patterns here at Taft. Man, that was messy. That vertical speed was all over the place. Yeah, that's still that was an overload kind of situation. So I guess I'm going to stay here at Taft, hoping that the weather is better here in general than at Oceano, and I should just keep on practicing and get those traffic pattern flying, get those skills, and those should be completely natural to me before I do these cross-country flights. Because this was a big overload. Also in the announcement, I should think first and then do the announcement, not do the announcement while I'm thinking. It should be concise, brief, and boom. That was about it, I think, in terms of the review. And I feel really tired, man. My brain is really feels like popcorn. So next time, and I'm hoping I can fly this weekend. I don't know for sure. Every Wednesday I fly on this time at 1830 Zulu time, but in the weekends I would like to fly too, just to keep on that training pace, but I don't know for sure yet. Just keep an eye on my Twitter channel at Uncertified Pilot, or my Facebook page, and I will tweet out when I plan to fly. So that's the place to be. And I need to practice my traffic pattern flights. That's obvious. And well, Taft has some great practice areas here. This is a great practice area. Although, if we look closely, we see some military air routes here. VR, there's also a VR here, and those are 4-digit numbers. So that means, if I'm correct, that is military activity above 1,500 feet. And I would rather prefer the 3-digit number, because then they are flying below 1,500 feet. And if we do our maneuvers and steep turns and other practice stuff, we're not going to do that below 1,500 feet. So I would rather prefer seeing 3-digit numbers here. But I don't know for sure if I'm now messing those up. I guess that the 4-digit number means that they are flying higher than 1,500 feet. Yeah, but still, that would be a great spot here to do practice, and we might spot some military activity too. Eventually, we can go to Bakersfield and also to Meadows and to chat with the air traffic controllers for the first time. Man, if I'm now imagining me flying a traffic pattern while I should actually chat with the air traffic controllers at the same time, I would crash. I can even, I mean, again, flying the airplane first, that should be natural, and then we move up, and that's the whole idea. And also, if I look at the at my flight training on CertifiedPilot.com, I have structured my flight training, and the first thing that I'm now looking for, a video that I would like to upload and also put in that video container over there, is making a perfect traffic pattern. And I should do that first, because that's the first basic kind of skill that I need to demonstrate first before we go to do other stuff. Do one at daytime and do one at nighttime, and if I succeed, then we can move on. So that's going to be the topic, I guess, the mission, the learning goal of the next episode, and perhaps the one after. We can hop to other uncontrolled airports in this area, perhaps, just for practice, but basics first. That's the whole idea. Okay, guys, thank you so much for following me, for being my trusty co-pilots. I really enjoy your presence and sharing your knowledge, knowledge of flight simulation, but also general aviation with me while I'm flying. It really makes flying much more fun and also quite educational. And I am hoping that you guys also learned a thing or two while I was flying. It's created a nice community of flight simulator pilots that are a bit more serious about flight training in Flight Simulator rather than just casual flying. So I hope you enjoy too. And most of all, I'm looking forward to meet you on the next flight, the next episode. I don't know this weekend, but just keep an eye on my Twitter channel, and I will tweet when I fly, or follow me on Twitch, and you get an email as soon as I'm live. Guys, thank you. Blue skies and happy flying. Bye.
I'm passing through 500, 715, 715, 134.125.